The problem really was the American version of church. See, we've all been taught our whole lives that following Jesus was basically going to a church service once a week. And if we take that away, a lot of us don't know what to do. Our view of the church was so small that it failed all of us. We always said, every church always said that following Jesus wasn't just about Sunday, but we didn't prioritize it.
Hi, welcome. Hi, this is Together for Salem. I'm Donna, and this is Monica, and we are from Crosscreek Community Church. And if this is your first time watching, what should they do?
Welcome! We're so glad you're watching. Welcome to Donna's Deck. We have a welcome form online for you. It's super easy, super simple to fill out, and it's just a great way for you to say hi to us to say hi to you. Sometimes when you're watching things on YouTube or listening on a podcast, it's hard to connect. This is a way to do that, and we have gifts for you. You'll see those selection boxes there on that welcome form. Really easy, yeah, really quick, really simple.
So coming up next, we've got an update from John about kind of the direction that we're going and what the church has been doing, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah.
So the last month here on Together for Salem, we've been talking about the kingdom of God, how we are all called, how we are all invited to join God in his revolution here on earth right now. And I think the obvious question is, what is Crosscreek Community Church going to do with this idea of joining God in his revolution? Where are we headed? See, we've been physically, on site shut down for over a year now. So what I want to do in this special episode is give a brief overview before we really get into our next series, talking about where we're going with this kingdom of God idea. So before we get into where we're going and why and all of that, I want to give a little bit of background about why we are in this situation that we are in right now, why we have been talking about the kingdom of God. So back in 2020. Was it 2020? Back in 2020. Leave that. You can leave that. Back in 2020, before what I like to call the great closing, Crosscreek was, as in every metric of church that we usually use, we were doing really well. Our numbers are up. People were giving lots of money. People were excited. But the leadership behind the scenes was really feeling like there's something missing. There's something more that we wanted Crosscreek to be. Crosscreek can be more. Like, we as a local body of Jesus followers can be more, but we didn't know what it was. Like, we actually had leadership conversations. What is this? And we couldn't put our finger on it. And then everything closed. Everything shut down. The world stopped. And an interesting and painful thing happened. Christians everywhere in our country started really struggling, really having a hard time with the shutdown. And it kind of frustrated me because I'm like, are you a Jesus follower or are you just kind of doing church? Why are you struggling so much with this? Why is your faith not in Jesus? And I had to work through that. And I realized that it wasn't their fault for struggling. See, the problem really was the American version of church. See, we've all been taught our whole lives that following Jesus was basically going to a church service once a week. And if we take that away, a lot of us don't know what to do. See, we saw many people throughout the country struggle, really struggle, because they lost their church service. They weren't allowed to go to church. They actually felt far from God because they couldn't go to the church building once a week. And to be completely honest, and we talked about this at the drive-in also, I personally, as a leader of a church, felt like I had failed the people of Crosscreek that were struggling. I really had to work through this. But then I realized that it wasn't me who really failed them. It was, see, our view of the church was so small that it failed all of us. We always said, every church always said that following Jesus wasn't just about Sunday, but we didn't prioritize it. We didn't actually live it out. We didn't prove it by what we spent our money on and what we spent our time doing. And we at Crosscreek want people to be able to thrive even when they lose their church service, even when they lose their job, even when the world is completely turned upside down. We want to help people thrive in the life that Jesus offers. And so throughout this year, we at the leadership level of Crosscreek have been searching for what that more is that we felt before the pandemic. We've been searching for what that more is. And we found it. It's been there the whole time. It's the kingdom of God. It's dedicating our lives, our individual lives, and our collective life to the revolution of God. And so that caused us to rethink. That caused us to evaluate everything that is Crosscreek. And the passage that's really just been hitting me is what Paul wrote about the kingdom of God in 1 Corinthians. For the kingdom of God is not just a lot of talk. It is living by God's power. It's not just a lot of talk. It's actually daily, every moment, living, doing, being by God's power. See, we don't want to just talk about the kingdom of God. We don't want to just sing songs about the kingdom of God. We want to live the kingdom of God with God's power. And so we've decided to refocus on why we even exist as a local representation of Jesus' church, Jesus' ecclesia. And so we've even looked at our mission. Like, we've rephrased our mission as this. As a local group of Jesus followers, we exist to invite our neighbors to discover, enjoy, and share the life Jesus offers together. To invite our neighbors. We're going to go through like each word in the next series, what this actually means and how we're going to play this out. But when we say neighbors, we're talking about like Jesus' definition of neighbor, the Good Samaritan, our family, our friends, those around us who are different and those who are similar. We exist to invite our neighbors to discover, enjoy, and share the life Jesus offers together. We want to live out. What that means is we want to live out. The main idea is we want to live out the kingdom of God in our lives and invite others to experience the same thing. We want to focus on the doing. We want to focus on the becoming, not just on the talking. See, the world's changed, and we, as Jesus followers, need to change with it. The message of Jesus, the message of the kingdom of God never changes, but how we present it and what we do in it needs to change with the world. We need to meet people where they are. We need to meet people where we are needed most. And so what does that look like? We're going to go through this in our next series, but I want to give a rough plan for now. And it's going to feel vague because there's still a lot we're working through, but I want to be able to communicate as clearly and as often as possible because there are things that are going to be different. And what I'm about to do is probably going to create more questions than answers. That's okay. Welcome to my last year. But if you have questions, ask them. If you have ideas, share them. If you have suggestions, let us know. Email us at info@yourcrosscreek.com if you have any thoughts on this. And so as we move forward, we've decided we want everything we do to have this aspect of discovering, enjoying, and sharing the life Jesus offers. And so for now, and this might change and it might not, for now, we're going to keep with our twice a month parties. Because there's a few reasons why we're going to stick with twice a month parties. Because the kingdom of God is not a once a week gathering. It's an everyday existence. And we want to refocus on that and not just jump back into it being this once a week, every Sunday type of thing. We want to refocus on what it really means to be the kingdom of God. And so we want to give space for us as individuals and us as a group of people to live that out, to exemplify the kingdom of God with our time commitments. We're not wrapped up in a weekly event. And doing twice a month parties actually allows our staff, our small staff of 2 paid and 2 volunteer staff, to focus on what we call the front door of Crosscreek, which is this, what you're watching right now, Together for Salem, the online presence of Crosscreek. We're going to keep our main teachings here on YouTube, on Facebook, on the podcast, on Together for Salem. And then that allows our staff, if we focus on this and not every week, jump back to every week's service, it allows us, the staff, to focus on this idea of one-on-one partnering teams, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And so why are we just sticking with Together for Salem, not going back to every week? Another reason, because for a lot of people, and maybe this is you right now, and if you're checking this out, and you're like, why is he doing this, like talking about this? You're getting a taste of what we're about and where we're going and what you're invited to be a part of. For a lot of people, this that you're watching right now, for most people, this is their first taste, their first experience with Crosscreek. Their first experience maybe with a church. It's a safe, non-threatening, anonymous way to check things out, to discover the life Jesus offers. And then when people are ready and when you're ready, you can experience a taste of what this community is really like at one of our twice-a-month parties. So that's our twice-a-month party. And then we're going to keep our connect groups. Like, connect groups are staying. If everything changes, we're keeping connect groups, because that is where we believe church, like the loving each other, the forgiving each other, the bearing one another's burdens, the one another's that the New Testament writings talk about, that's where they happen, in our small groups. And so we're actually going to put more emphasis and more time and more energy into what we call our connect groups, our small groups. Now, I talked about this a second ago. The biggest new thing that's coming down the road, and we don't even have the right name for it yet, is the partnering teams. Here's what those are. We're going to encourage people to join a one-on-one team, like Who's Your One, where you get to go deeper into what it means to actually live in and be in the kingdom of God, where you can discover the life Jesus offers, enjoy that, and then share it with another person that you are weekly involved in, or maybe bi-monthly. We don't even know exactly what that looks like. But it's a way for each Jesus follower, in their own unique way, to discover their role in the kingdom of God, to walk alongside somebody and be with them as they explore the kingdom of God. It'll be a guided, on-demand type of thing with Crosscreek, where you have your own experience, but it's guided and it's on demand with help from Crosscreek. And then we're still going to be for Salem. We're for our neighbors because God's for our neighbors, and we want to be known for what we're for, not for what we're against. And so we're going to put more emphasis into being for our neighbors with regular opportunities for both large and small and personal mission of being for our neighbors and showing people that God is for them because we are for them. And the question you might be asking, because you've made it this far and you might be interested, is how can I contribute? How you can contribute? There's quite a few ways. The one thing that has just been kind of just pounding our minds is we need a kids environment. See, online works for adults, but kids, they need something in person. They need to actually see an adult who loves them and shows them that what following Jesus and being part of the kingdom of God is really like, and that they, as even young kids, have a huge role to play. So we need a kids environment. We need to reimagine what that looks like. We need people to lead that charge. We need people who have the imagination and the courage to do that. We need contributors who will help and actually teach these kids. So maybe that's you. You can contribute that way. For our parties, we need people. We need contributors who help with parking and hosting and being that first smile somebody actually ever receives at a church type thing. We need help with the sound of music and snacks and organizing and communicating exactly how this is going to work and organizing the other contributors and that type of thing. And a big thing that we've been feeling is that we need our own space. We need a space that is Crosscreek's. the idea that we're kind of kicking around, that we've just had on our heart probably since the beginning of Crosscreek, just never been able to really get it out there, is the idea of a community pub or tap house or maybe coffee shop, which is a space for the community, not just Crosscreek, but for the community to gather. Yes, a space for us to have our parties, but also a place for our groups to connect, for those one-on-one partnerships to meet. A space that would have a safe place for our kids' environment. A place where you could say, hey, think about this. You're talking to a friend who might be interested in Jesus, might not be. Hey, you want to come Sunday morning to my church service with me? No, they're not. But hey, you want to go have a drink and hear and talk about life and see how Jesus kind of fits into that life? That sounds a little bit better, doesn't it? Can you picture that? Like a comfortable place where we can invite our friends, our relatives, our associates, our neighbors, where we can bring them there to say, hey, this is a safe place. Something that's open throughout the week, not just on a Sunday for a service, but open throughout the week that the community can use and that can also be used for our Crosscreek stuff. A place where we can focus on our purpose to invite our neighbors to discover, enjoy, and share the life Jesus offers together. Why do we need a space? Because we need a different studio than Monica and Aaron's garage. But this idea is going to take some money. It just is. That's the nature of the world. And so maybe that's where you contribute, is by saying, you know what? Maybe we need to regularly look at our budget and monthly say, we're going to give this much to the mission that Crosscreek is on. And then mostly how you can contribute to this, to our passion to bring the kingdom of God to earth now in Salem, is a willingness to experiment with us. We're going to try new things. Not all of them are going to work, and that's okay. We're going to explore. We need a willingness to explore, to maybe push the boundaries. It's not going to look like what we're used to because the world's changed and we need to change with it. We need people who are willing to pray with us, to have an imagination with us, to ask God to give us His creativity to reach the people He desperately loves and the people He died for. See, no matter where you are on your journey, you are invited to discover more of Jesus and the life He offers. We all have more we can discover about the life Jesus offers. You're invited to enjoy it, to do it, to apply it, to live it out wherever you are. And then you are invited to embrace your role, your God-given role in the kingdom of God, and share this life with others. We want to walk with you as you become everything God has planned for you. See, we don't want to just ask you to make Crosscreek another church trying to become something bigger. We're not in it to make Crosscreek bigger. We're in it to make you bigger, to show you who you can truly be, how you can be more in the kingdom of God. As we invite our neighbors to discover, enjoy, and share the life Jesus offers together. And in our next series, we're going to talk more on the why we're looking at it this way and how we're going to do all of this. But here's the main thing. The future needs Jesus followers who are passionate about bringing the kingdom of God to earth now. Is that you? Then you're invited to join this adventure with us.
Welcome back. Exciting thing happening now. Giveaway.
Sweet.
Light Deck Restaurant, which is near the Salem Airport.
Yes, it is.
And we're giving away $25 because we do this every week and every time it gets more fun. And this week's winner is Charisse. Charisse B.
You did it!
You did it. Congratulations. Thanks for entering online. Thank you to everybody who entered. You do have another opportunity to win this week.
That's true. In honor of Mother's Day, this week's giveaway is a little bit of vino. So we are giving away a $25 gift card to Ankeny Vineyard. And they also have wood-fired pizza and an outside deck, spinach and artichoke dip that is top-notch, and of course wine. So go ahead and enter on social media, comment, or you can also send an email to be entered in that giveaway.
That's right.
Yeah.
I might be entering this one. I've never been to Ankeny.
Can you win?
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Hey, Winston, you should get down. Thank you for the love.
I probably can't win, but that's okay. I can go myself. It'll be great.
And Wednesday, we also have this Wednesday, May 12th, depending on when you're watching this, but Wednesday, May 12th, 6 p.m. at the church parking lot, we are going to be having a party.
I love parties.
Yeah, so just a time for all of us to get together, and we're going to have some music, some hot dogs, some lawn games. Bring a lawn chair, bring a blanket, and just a great time for us all to see each other.
That's right. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And the weather's supposed to be great.
It should be great.
Yeah. And we have a little gift for the ladies too. So
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't know about this part, but
Cool.
It's not a surprise anymore, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, so no message from John, just a fun hangout time.
Party time.
Yeah. Anyways, we will see you next time.
New series starts next week.
Yes.
See you then.
See ya. We're just so wonderfully cheesy. Welcome to Crosscreek. We are so. We have Coda this time.
Good.
Sit, boy. Sit.
Mom, get me some tots.
Totino's! That's Crosscreek community.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We're going to welcome you.
Welcome.
We are going to welcome you starting now. Welcome.